25 leads go in. One click later, the system gives me 20 follow-up drafts, blocks 2 unsafe records, skips 2 closed leads, and logs every decision. Total software cost, $0. Total messages sent, 0. And that second 0 is the reason this workflow is actually useful. It can do the repetitive work, but it cannot contact a customer until a human reviews the result. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the build, run it on deliberately messy data, open the real output, and show you exactly where this free version stops being safe. Lead follow-up looks easy on a whiteboard. In real life, a quote request arrives while you're on a job. Another sits in a spreadsheet. Someone sends one reply, forgets the next one, and a good lead slowly goes cold. The tempting answer is to buy another tool and connect 5 apps. But a small business usually needs a better first question. What is the smallest safe workflow that fixes this specific delay? For this build, I set 5 rules. It has to cost nothing to run. It cannot need an API key. It has to work locally. It must create drafts instead of sending messages. And it has to leave an audit trail. No magic agent. No hidden send button. Just a small workflow we can inspect. The input is a CSV file with 25 fictional leads. The names and companies are synthetic, and every valid address uses example.com. This is demo data, not a customer list. Each row includes a lead ID, first name, company, email, requested service, creation date, status, and contact consent. Then I planted 4 problem cases. One person has not consented to contact. One email address is malformed. One lead is already won. One is already lost. I also mixed in different lead ages, so every follow-up stage gets tested. This matters because a perfect spreadsheet proves almost nothing. The useful question is whether the guardrails survive bad input. The engine is a short local Python script built with the standard library. There is no paid package and no cloud account. First, it checks that the required columns exist. Then it validates the lead ID and the basic email format. Next comes consent. Unless consent is explicitly yes, the row is blocked and the reason goes into the audit log. After that, it checks the lead status. Won and lost leads are skipped. For an active lead, the workflow calculates how many days have passed since the inquiry. A new lead from today waits. 1 or 2 days gets a quick check-in. 3 to 6 days gets a useful next step. 7 to 13 days gets a polite final follow-up. Anything older moves into nurture. The workflow then builds a subject line and a short draft using the stage, requested service, and company name. Every row is marked review required. Every send status says not sent. Finally, it creates an audit file with totals, runtime, failure reasons, limitations, and a number of external messages sent. Notice what is not inside this runtime: generative AI. That is deliberate. Consent, eligibility, and permission to send should be hard rules, not creative decisions. A model could rewrite a draft later. It should not decide whether a person is safe to contact. Now let's run it. The command points to the demo file, chooses a new output folder, and freezes the date at July 19th, 2026. Freezing the date makes the result reproducible. Here is the output. 25 records processed. 20 drafts created. 2 records blocked. 1 for missing consent. 1 for an invalid email. 2 closed leads skipped. 1 same-day lead waits. The 20 drafts break down into 3 first follow-ups, 5 second follow-ups, 6 final follow-ups, and 6 nurture messages. The script completed in under 10 milliseconds on this machine. That number is real, but it is not the same as business time saved. A person still needs to review the drafts, confirm the context, and choose what to send. Open the draft file, and every result is visible. The lead, stage, age, reason, subject, message body, review requirement, and send status. Open the audit file, and the blocked rows are documented by row number and reason. Nothing was silently dropped, and nothing was sent. 3 things worked well. First, the workflow is visible. The owner can open the input and output with ordinary spreadsheet software. There is no mystery dashboard hiding the logic. Second, it fails closed. Missing consent does not become a draft. A malformed email does not vanish. Closed deals do not receive an awkward follow-up. Third, the demonstrated runtime really does cost $0. It uses a local Python installation and plain files. During this test, customer data goes nowhere because there is no customer data and no cloud connection. The audit trail is useful too. If a draft looks wrong, we could trace it back to the exact input row and rule. But this is not a production sales system. The email check only catches obvious formatting errors. It does not prove an inbox exists. The templates are intentionally simple, so repeated messages may sound repetitive. There is no duplicate detection, no business hours rule, no suppression or opt-out list, no encryption, access control, backup, monitoring, or connection to a real email provider. And here is the biggest limitation. The workflow cannot see the full conversation. A lead may have replied by phone. A customer may have opted out in another system. A sales rep may have made a private note that changes the entire context. This file knows none of that. That is why human review is not optional. I'm also not claiming a specific number of hours saved. To make that claim, we would need to time a real operator doing the same work, including review and corrections. Multiplying 20 drafts by an assumed number of minutes would sound impressive. It would not be measured evidence. This version can make sense when lead volume is low. One person owns the process, the rules are simple, and every draft is reviewed before sending. It is a poor fit when several employees need simultaneous access, strict compliance applies, lead status lives across multiple systems, or immediate automatic delivery is essential. That is where a platform, a CRM, or a custom application can earn its cost. Tools like Zapier, Make, and N8N provide triggers, credentials, integrations, retries, permissions, and monitoring. The real comparison is not $0 versus a subscription. It is the subscription cost versus the risk and labor of maintaining the system yourself. If I upgraded this workflow, I would do it in this order. Step 1. Add duplicate detection and a suppression list. Step 2. Connect a real CRM or inbox, but keep it in draft-only mode. Step 3. Add monitoring and give one-person ownership of failed runs. Step 4. Measure review time, corrections, and response rate. Only then would I test AI for tone or personalization. Consent, status, suppression, and send approval would remain hard rules outside the model. That sequence is less dramatic than turning on an agent. It is also how you avoid automating a broken process. So, here is the verdict. Pass as a local draft generator and learning system. Fail as an unattended production workflow. It processed the complete demo set, created 20 review-ready drafts, blocked the 2 unsafe records, skipped the 2 closed leads, logged every outcome, caused $0 to run, and sent 0 messages. The project folder includes the synthetic input, the script, the draft output, and the audit report, so the test can be reproduced. Before using anything like this with real customers, add your consent policy, unsubscribe handling, security controls, conversation context, and a human review step. This is workflow proof, tested tools, and measured time saved only when the time is actually measured. Next, I'll run the same business task through N8N, Make, and Zapier, then compare setup time, maintenance, and cost on one scorecard.